So this video is sponsored by Pionex, one of the exchanges I use all the time. It's one of the main crypto brokers to Binance, so the volume is very high. The main thing that sets them apart though is that you can use free trading bots, a variety all designed to benefit from different market behaviors, whether that's up, down or sideways. You'll get 20% off all your trading fees for life with my link in the description. And if you join the Telegram, a lot of us already use it, so if you've got questions we can try and help you out. Hello everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to make a rough price prediction for Bitcoin and almost like a warning of what I think is likely to take place, quite soon, to be honest with you, based on a few things. So I don't know if you look at on-chain data. There's a few people on Twitter and things that do it to a very decent extent, and essentially what it shows is that there's more people, and this has been the case for a while now, there's more people buying Bitcoin than there is selling Bitcoin, right? So most Bitcoin that's getting bought is being bought, put into cold wallets, and hodled, basically, whether that's your institutions or people like me and maybe you. I don't know what your plans are. So what this has caused recently is, after this giant sort of collapse in price and a reaccumulation, since we reached the low here, where we had a money flow index read come straight up. This is when people thought, oh, it's all over, bear market, it's a double top, blah, blah. And then suddenly, in a period of what would be, it's not very long, it's about 3 weeks period, we had a 64% increase in price, right? 64% for Bitcoin. It's quite a lot, because most people love their altcoins, including me. Why wouldn't you? But we're not used to, or some people aren't used to, seeing Bitcoin make big moves. Now that was a decent move, right? And I was pointing this out on the live streams and just probably even videos. It was something I was a bit cautious of, saying, look, we're coming all the way up to the top here on the money flow index read, right? When you reach an area of 95, it's usually a time for a top to be formed. And what happened? Well, we continued up, right? This complements the on-chain data, suggesting that more people are buying it than they are selling it. And although there was a top formed shortly after where I expected the top to be, it's kind of held its relative value. Now, this doesn't mean that it can't come down. Obviously, there's derivatives and all kinds of things that can drive the price down. But generally speaking, this goes hand in hand with what would be the on-chain data, suggesting that people are buying it and less people selling it. So we have volume coming in, volume coming out, but we have price remaining relatively high, right? Money flow index isn't a good opportunity to buy a low. It's never really very good at spotting lows. It's a bit more useful at spotting tops, which is one of the main reasons I use it. But essentially what it is a volume indicator, and it's telling you that the volume is leaving this asset, and but the price is remaining relatively high. So when a volume indicator like the money flow index starts to pick up again, the price is likely to go up, because essentially what it is, it's a read of the money coming into it, new money coming into it, right? Or just money in general. So what we'll be expecting soon, at some point, whether we take a leg down and we get a very oversold area on the money flow index, is that this will turn around and come back up. And like I say, it's not very good at spotting bottoms, but it is quite low at the moment, and we would be expecting this to start pointing back up again. So my expectation is that when Bitcoin is going to move next time, and we've already seen what a 64% rally can do, and we can expect, maybe, let's just say, oh, what's a 64% rally from here? It would be into the $100,000 zone, right? That's just normal price action, right? That's normal price action. That without essentially the FOMO, right? And if there's still more people buying than there are selling, then it'll go up even higher. And this is just new money coming into it. If we have a look over here at the total market cap, including Bitcoin, which is this one here, we see that obviously quite a lot of money came into here since September, and it caused the price to move up. This is the entire market, by the way, so not just Bitcoin. This is excluding Bitcoin. This is including Bitcoin. The one including Bitcoin is obviously a bit more bullish than the one excluding Bitcoin, but they're both very bullish. So I'm not saying that altcoins aren't going to catch some awesome moves. They certainly are going to catch awesome moves. But when Bitcoin decides to move next time, I think it's going to move pretty high, right? And so we've already established that it wouldn't take a great deal for it to move into the $100,000 zone just based on normal price action alone, right? And again, we've got a cup in handle on here. We've got a conversion baseline here. We've got a really good long-term setup here for continuation from this area here. So I would expect the market, the market cap of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency all combined to at least reach 4 to maybe 5 trillion or maybe beyond, right? When FOMO starts. Now, at the moment, me and my rotation, in the way that I like to play the market with a rotation. We look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, and the royal we being me was able to get in, I suppose, essentially before Bitcoin rallied, and it feels like a long time ago now. But Bitcoin rallied and left altcoins behind. This chart kind of shows that for what it's worth. Money coming into Bitcoin, leaving altcoins, or money just coming into Bitcoin at a faster rate. And then what happened? Yeah, I thought we were going to go higher. I still probably think we probably will at some point go higher. But we broke down. We're breaking down at the moment. Now, there's a whole area of crypto now that excludes Bitcoin altogether. So we've got all your NFT stuff, and now you've got this whole metaverse stuff, right? And the two are almost combined in many ways. They go hand in hand. And I'm not like your fundamental type guy, but you just need to look at some of these charts here. In the last 7 days, we've seen immense rallies across these metaverse coins, right? So depending on how long you've been in the market, I don't know how long you've been in, but I've been in for a little while. And what I can usually say is that when things start to go up like this, they don't generally continue up like this. People will take profit because essentially altcoins, no matter what the project or how awesome you think it is or how life-changing you think it might be, people want to take profit, right? And the liquidity of some of these things are not that high. And when money starts getting taken out, price dumps. So there's two options when you take well, I suppose there's three options when you take profit, but mostly there's two. There's profit taken into the form of a stable coin, or there's profit taken into Bitcoin, right? I would expect that we would be looking at maybe half and half when people are starting to take profits. And if you're like me, you'd be taking profit into Bitcoin. And you might think that that's I probably think that that's the best place to do. We're looking to finish off this bull run with a very nice peak. Everything suggests it on the market cap dominance here and of total and total too, so including and excluding Bitcoin. So we are looking for at least another trillion, probably more, to enter the market across the board, generally speaking. But if there is a move from altcoins into Bitcoin, we have a total market cap here excluding Bitcoin that's looking very bullish, and then we have one that's including Bitcoin, which is also looking very bullish, and we have a Bitcoin dominance which is fast approaching a support, which is around about 40, we'll call it 40% dominant, thereabouts, right? Where I would expect a rotation to really begin all over again. We've had two attempts at a rotation, one in the face of a dump, one in the face of a pump, and we are entering the latter stages of probably the bull market right now. So we've got, I don't know, a handful of months maybe at best before this completes, in my opinion. Like I say, it's just that all models suggest that that's likely to be the case. It might not be, but if all models, popular models still fit, that is what a cycle is. It's human behavior. Do you know what I mean? It's not magic. A cycle is largely determined by human behavior. Now there is differences, like I say, with Bitcoin, more people holding it, cold wallet storage, off the exchanges, and that's why the price is being able to be held at such a high level, while money flow index is basically going down to the ground again. So, whether this picks up with new money on its own, or it does it with a rotation, or it does it with both, I think that the next area of major price prediction that is probably going to sound like Moon Boy stuff. And in all fairness, in fact, let's just take it on the log scale. Let's put it on the old log scale. I think it, for me personally, and if you've ever been around for the end of a bull market, like I have, FOMO makes a big difference, right? Price is determined by more buyers than sellers. We've already established that there are already more buyers than sellers. I mean, obviously there is, otherwise we wouldn't have had such an enormous bull market. We got into Bitcoin, the royal we being me, around this area here, right? So we can already see this is a log scale, right? How awesome the bull market has already been. But normally a bull market will end with a bubble pop, especially in a speculative asset like Bitcoin. Becoming less speculative, but it's still highly speculative. Nobody really knows where it's going, how high it's going to go. We have all kinds of different price predictions of where it's going to be at its peak. I'm targeting areas around here. I know it sounds bizarre and stupid and crazy, but it's not. And I really don't think it is bizarre and weird. Because I remember when I had Bitcoin, I was in the market in 2017 into 18. You know, I was watching Bitcoin going up, and I was mildly amazed, to be honest with you, at how fast it was going. I was like, this is brilliant, this is great, this is brilliant. You know, we had our pumps, we had our dumps, we had big moves up, big moves down. This is just how Bitcoin goes. But when it reached its $10,000 area, I was like, wow, oh my god, I never could have imagined something like that. And then only maybe about a week later, not long after the $10,000 area, $20,000 was achieved through the FOMO, and then the bubble pop kicked in. Now we can determine, you know, usually through a money flow index, how the bubble pop will be. If we look at the weekly, we can determine how overheated something is usually when it approaches its 95 area, which is what it's done in the past. Bubble pop here, bubble pop here, bubble pop here. And I would imagine that we would get another bubble pop around this zone as well. So we'd look at the weekly and determine, all right, we've got 1, 2, 3 marks at the top. We can always go higher, but generally speaking, this is where it's telling us to pretty much get out, basically. And I'm going to stick to that formula because it always worked, basically. It's always working. You know, we can always jump back into the market, and when this is cooled back off, you can get your dead cat bounces, you can have your lengthening cycles, you can have whatever you want. But personally, I mean, it's a good indicator in itself. Very simple to say, right, you're risking too much at this level. It's only fair that you take at least a decent portion of profit and wait for you know, whether it's a pullback or the inevitable dump, bubble pop, crash, whatever you call it. So, like I say, it's just a theory based on how we're behaving at this current moment in time, based on the daily and the on-chain data, and this surge of money going into altcoins related to the metaverse and NFTs and just generally Ethereum. We can admire Ethereum's chart over here, which is basically slow and steady wins the race, because basically most of these, if not all of them, these metaverse and NFT related tokens that all run off Ethereum, and Ethereum ends up basically absorbing you know, a lot of that value just through default. So long as Ethereum's strong, these altcoins will be okay. Well, they'll come and go. Do you know what I mean? There's bubble pops within a bubble. Do you know what I mean? All over the place. But so long as Ethereum's healthy like this, the Bitcoin dominance will be low. But it's only a matter of time before we do get the inevitable significant rally from Bitcoin, pushing us at least into the $100,000 zone. And then when people finally realise that it's not slowing down, the rotation will pick up pace. And it will push it, you know, beyond your wildest dreams. But again, this is the nature of a FOMO, and this is what will cause and has always caused a bubble pop. It doesn't matter what asset it is. Like in traditional markets, you had the .com era that ended with an enormous bubble pop. Everybody just throwing money into anything. That's basically what happens with crypto all the time. You know, it's just, it's the same kind of deal. Do you know what I mean? And that's how we will determine the bubble pop. And you will know it, you will feel it when it's happening. And it will likely be caused by Bitcoin. It won't be caused by anything else, because all of these collapses, you know, throughout the entire of this market cycle, we can look at the total market cap, including Bitcoin, here. All of these collapses was to do with Bitcoin. Bitcoin basically controls the market. So when Bitcoin gets overheated, Bitcoin receives the FOMO. More or less, it's time to get out. So it should be in many ways the last trade that you make is going into a much larger Bitcoin position, ready for what is going to be, in my opinion, a giant move for Bitcoin. If we think about, you know, my area, where's my squiggly little? Oh no, that's Ethereum. Where's my squiggly little ball that I made? Let's have a look at that, and we just measure this up from where we are right now. And again, you know, this right now is, people are going to look at this and go, ooh, it's a 249% move, and that's for Bitcoin. So, and again, that's reaching the absolute top. We're talking about 200, 220, maybe 250. Who knows? You know what I mean? Because 1% is a hell of a lot of money at that point. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to put across here is that Bitcoin determines the market, whether it's health or you know, or when it's going to collapse, and that is going to be the way it's going to go. It will go back into Bitcoin like it always has. You look in any altcoin chart, 90% of altcoin charts versus their Bitcoin pair, they just go down. They just go down over time. That's probably how it's going to be indefinitely, I would say. And it's not because I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, far from it. You watch my YouTube channel, I make calls on altcoins all the time. That's where the majority of my trading takes place, on altcoins. But you can't you can't forget what's really going on here, which is that Bitcoin is king. Yeah, it's less than 50% dominant right now, but it will once again become dominant, whether that's in a bull market or a bear market. Certainly will become more dominant in a bear market, because altcoins can't handle bear markets. They just can't. They can't handle it. I was on the live stream the other day, and I was outside a pub the other day in Brighton. I was listening to a couple of lads just on another table, and they were talking, crypto. And I was listening to them. I was like, my God, these guys are new, and it's okay to be new. Everybody's new once. But I was listening to them, and I was thinking, with everything they were saying, I was thinking, this is almost marking the top right now. They were talking about putting their student loans into crypto and buying Sheep and Dogecoin and all these sort of things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should really go over to them and try and explain the nature of what it is they're doing here. But I'm not gonna. It's not for me. Everyone's got to learn the hard way, and no matter how enticing altcoins can continue to be, and again, this is another thing that just kind of marks the top. You will find it hard to sell things. You will just not be able to sell, because when a bull market turns into a bull run, it's just so tempting to just leave it one more day, and one more day, and one more day, and then the last day, it's all over. The worst thing you could possibly go through, I would imagine, would be for this scenario to play out. And I'm not saying it's going to, but for this scenario to play out, which is that the rotation begins to pick up pace, altcoins go into Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes up to the moon, and then Bitcoin pops, and then all those altcoins which rely either being static, trailing pathetically behind Bitcoin, or maybe even going down, because they just have such a liquidity issue that when the money leaves them, they go down in their dollar value as Bitcoin goes up to these kind of levels. And then the inevitable Bitcoin pop happens, which pops the entire market, and then everything goes down massively, and we do enter a bear market, right? It might not be as savage as the ones in the past, but it could be, and there's no reason to dispute why it wouldn't be, because there'll be a lot of selling going on after a parabolic top, and a lot of derivatives pushing the price down even further from such high levels. Poor old altcoins won't be able to hack it, and you will see once again that all altcoins end up basically losing value against Bitcoin. Like you will see if you just load up any altcoin chart that's over 3 years old, you will see Bitcoin basically has outperformed them since forever, and will probably continue to do that, because Bitcoin. I'm not like a massive Bitcoin fan or anything like that. It is what it is. It's a means to an end for me. It's just making money and things. But people will. It's the king. Do you know what I mean? It will hold more value than altcoins, like it always ever has done. Ethereum is going into a different vibe. I agree. I know that you're all screaming at your computers, going, "But what about this? It's life changing." It might be life changing, but it does not have the buyers and the holders to keep it afloat. Yeah, very, very unlikely that it will outperform Bitcoin in a bear market or a bubble pop. It's just very, very, very unlikely. So that's my prediction. I'm predicting that Bitcoin, in the heat of the FOMO, will move into the $200,000 zone by the end of this cycle. Now I'm okay with being wrong, and I don't like making these sort of predictions, but it's something that I've mentioned a few times on the live stream, and it is a bit clickbaity, but it's something that I truly do think is the most likely outcome, so why not make a video about it, right? I'm not going to put a picture of myself with my mouth wide open and go, Bitcoin to 250k. I'm not going to do that, because I don't have a very popular YouTube channel. I'm not one of those massive channels or anything like that. But yeah, this is something that I think is the most likely outcome, and so why not share my little voice on my little channel with you guys, and that's how I think it's going to go. I think everything points to that. I think when Bitcoin goes this next time, it's going to go. We had a little taster of what that was like just recently. Most people have probably forgotten that because it was so flittering, but it did happen. And I think it will happen again to a much larger extent when Bitcoin really does take off. That's my expectations. So, you create your own strategies, guys. This is my strategy. Take your altcoins, do what you want to do with them. Don't forget that Bitcoin is unfortunately, Bitcoin is king. And when Bitcoin moves, like it has done in the past, it can seriously move, right? And when it moves seriously, it damages the market. Well, damages your altcoins most likely. So just bear all that in mind. Anyway, I still think we've got quite a fair bit of fun to be had across the board. And again, the total market cap, including and excluding Bitcoin, is both very bullish. So I'm not particularly bearish on anything specifically. But if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, don't you? You must have heard that before, and I suppose this is what I'm trying to put across there. You know, you've got to have a plan. This is plan A. You've also got to have a plan B, a C, and a D. This doesn't have to happen. This is my preferred plan, but I'm easily adaptable if it doesn't work out this way. It's no big deal. It's just a few clicks, reshuffle the portfolio, no big deal. Yeah, I can cope with it. But if you have no plan whatsoever, then you kind of are asking for trouble. You're like those guys at the bar that I was listening to. They don't have a plan. They have no plan, and it's that sort of lack of a plan which will end up basically destroying the crypto dream that's been sold to everybody. Because this is a brilliant market. It's an awesome market to be in, right? We're very lucky to be able to partake in it. It's life-changing for anyone who takes it seriously. But for the people who don't, it could change your life, but not necessarily for the better. Anyway, so just trade safe, guys, and like I say, make some plans. A, B, C, D, however many plans you want. But this is my plan A, and that's my plan A's top target for Bitcoin, pushing into the $200,000 zone. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.